Hello, everyone. Good evening to this live session, and I'm very happy to see you all after a long time. And I think for me, it's also been quite a long since I haven't made any live session with any author. So as I'm back, I thought of starting off something different. So we have Mr. Prashant Kumar Lal, sir. So we are going to talk about his book that is test series, test series book of class 12. So let me tell a little bit about Sir. So first of all, to conclude in one sentence, Sir is a genius. So you might think this is an exaggeration of my thinking or thought process, whatever, but he has been fond of, like, he has been reading and studying physics for quite a long time in his life. So he did his master's in physics from University of Calcutta, and after that he has published many research papers. Despite belonging to science field, he has a very keen interest in English literature. His first book of English poems, that is Image of My Experiences, was published in the year 1998, and the second book of short stories, Glimpses, is in the line. So, as someone who has already, published his first book in 1998, this must be a very long journey to reach this distance, like with this stories, books, whatever we say. He's also engaged in writing textbook for physics, series of NCERT science books, especially for 6th, 7th, and 8th, are published by Landmark Publication from session 2010 onwards. He was awarded with Shiksha Ratan Award and Rashtriya Gaurav Award for the year 2007. Lal is fond of rafting, mountaineering, rope climbing, badminton, cycling, and tennis. He takes keen interest in flying, and I think this sort of experiences is nothing but magic. And I believe for someone to have all set of this interest, learnings, and I believe the curiosity to learn, it's very important that you are also an explorer. So I think for me, whatever I say, you will think this is a just exaggeration from my own mind. But let's meet Sir today and let's talk about his book. Let's hear from his side itself, and then we'll decide whatever I have said in the beginning is right or not. So, sir, if you are, I think I have sent a request to sir. So, sir, I have sent you a request. If you can see on the your screen, please join, or just you send me a request so we can begin this as soon as possible. And to my lovely audience, thank you for joining today's live. I'm really grateful. And to all the Muslim people and my Muslim brothers and sisters, wishing you Eid Mubarak. And I believe this holiday is going really good for you all. Yeah. So we'll wait for some time. Yes, so I have seen your request to join. I'm just trying to bring into the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Good evening to you. Good evening.
good, good evening, sir. Welcome to this live session. I hope you're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to see you there.
Yes, finally, after
Great.
a little struggle, we are able to be on this live, and I'm really glad to have you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so sir, are you ready? Like, we'll start in a minute. Yes, yes. So, sir, first of all, welcome to Astito Prakashan, and it's our pleasure to have you here. And
And thank you very much for having me here.
yes. So, sir, I'm very excited to like I have given whatever little uh, like introduction I could give about you.
Yeah.
Like I was reading about you and like I thought in a session it's not very convenient to tell you like all these things to the audience and
Yeah.
give all the introduction about an author, and I think if I would read it out everyone would think that it's just she's exaggerating the things. So it's better that we'll talk about your own experiences and then think it will be more engaging for the people present here. So, sir, you have already published book, and I believe this is going to be second or third book in the line,
Yeah.
like this one. So, how is the experience so far of being an author?
You know, writing is always a great part in one's teaching career. The inspiration, I was always inspired to write things. And
Hmm.
as a teacher, I'll be very honestly sharing.
Hmm.
I've also shared you some of the anecdotes. When I was young, I never understood physics.
Okay.
I inquired questions from the teachers,
Hmm.
and teachers in those days used to be very scary,
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
would hit you before you asked the question. I
Hmm.
used to ask, teacher taught me 12 inches is 1 foot. I would ask, sir, how do you know 1 inch is what?
Hmm.
In multiplications, teachers taught me multiplications in my childhood. I asked them, what
Hmm.
happens if you leave a digit from the left side?
Hmm.
And teachers found me scapegoat, and they hit me as much as they wanted. You know,
Hmm.
uh, when I grew up, I understood, and I taught children that inch, if you allow me, inch is inus. Now, most people will answer you thumb. So,
Hmm.
how much is your thumb? Show me your thumb. People say this is thumb, but in fact,
Hmm.
this is not thumb. This is a finger. Now, what
Hmm.
is a thumb? Thumb is the upper part of it, And if you
Yes.
pick up a scale and measure it, you will find it exactly 2.4 to 2.5 centimeter. That's how
Mm.
1 inch is 2.5 centimeter. And this comes
Mm.
from Greek word, inus. So 12
Okay.
times, 12 times an inch become 1 foot. When I grew
Mm.
up, I understood that and I taught children in this fashion. Similarly, God was very symmetrical. Now, if you have a inus in on your finger, now you measure your nose is 2 inus. Circumference of your ear is 2 inus. The width of your mouth is 2 inus. So it's interesting learning physics and
Mm.
teaching is, of course, a great job. And I enjoyed. I remained teacher and principal for 38 years, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Most principals they do not like to go to classrooms, but believe me,
Mm.
whenever I got time, I spend those time with the children in the classroom, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And while writing the inspiration behind creating, this comprehensive test series of class 12 physics, it was
Yes.
stemmed from my deep-rooted passion for education and my desire. And I felt compelled to develop a structured and comprehensive test series where all these problems should be sorted out. And, excuse me, Hitler once said to his teacher, when the teacher repeated 24 a time to a same content, Hitler's
Mm.
and the teacher got frustrated.
Mm.
Teacher said, little fellow, you don't understand. I taught you 24 a time.
Mm.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hitler said, ma'am, you said 24 a time, but you never said the way I understand. So
Yes.
the contents of teaching should be in a fashion how a child understands. This, this book competes in that section. And all those who purchase these books and go through them, they would certainly enjoy the contents.
Yes. Yes, sir. Definitely. I was also a science student till my bachelor's, so I can relate to it, whatever you are saying. And I also found physics like the hardest and toughest for me because I didn't get it the way my teacher used to teach and the
Yeah.
way they used to do all these derivations, numericals. I didn't get any relevance with that. So it was hard for me. But like on the other subjects, chemistry and biology, I used to score good because I understood. So one of the things you highlighted very rightly, like in fact in our education system, I believe we don't have such teachers who can put more efforts in teaching physics. And like physics is one of the important subjects. I would say the most important subject, and a lot of things has been going only because of physics. So like student just want to get rid of it, or only the students who wants to go into the medical field or like engineering field wants to read the physics.
Yeah.
So I believe we need such books or materials or teachers which can restore the encouragement and like curiosity among the students.
Thanks, you spoke very kind words.
Yes. So, sir, how did you started with the like comprehending the book and so what was the process? How much time it took for you to compile everything?
Uh, you know, it took comprehensively pretty long to do all kind of things. And few points when you write a book, then there are plenty of things which have to be taken care of, like comprehensive coverage of syllabus. Now we had to go through the complete curriculum of CBSE, ICSE, state boards, and we found. Then we also interviewed some of the students and teachers. Most teachers in the school they do not touch numericals. They teach theory and leave the numericals for the tuition or the support system. That's not good enough unless your theory is translated into the numerical part of it. If you have not expressed your thoughts into mathematical sense of applications, you have not achieved to physics. So we
Mm-hmm.
did got diverse question types. Then we started looking forward. What questions teachers are giving. Then difficulty level gradations. We took around 1.5 months around. And there was a problem because teachers taught what they knew better, and teachers asked children which answers they knew better. Sorry if I'm been I'm apologetic about those teachers, because most teachers ask a very set questions what they're familiar with, and they leave the classroom after that. But to a student whose faculty is still developing, he has to achieve certain target, meet certain requirement in his life or her life. They need to be taught differently, and therefore a realistic simulation system we created. And in that simulation system, how do we upgrade the difficulty level gradation, diverse question types, and comprehensive coverage of the syllabus? That made a unique set of question papers. Then what happened? We thought that these questions cannot be dealt if these questions are even asked or put into a book. Who will write the answers? Then we started writing answers for each questions, and then detailed explanations and feedback is started. Then authoritative content. There are plenty of private sectors, education factories are there. They charge a lot of money, and poor children are deprived. Those who are mediocre, they are deprived of. So we have started taking care of in a fashion that we will prepare contents in a way so that it has a user-friendly interface. Children do themselves, they verify themselves, assess themselves, and they find what goes wrong with them. Therefore, a book costing around 600 rupees will substitute the tuition coverage of around 6 lakh or 60,000. So if a child is little attentive, he is laborious, he is consistent, this book will certainly meet all those requirements, because this book, summarily, I'll tell you that it had a diverse question types, difficulty level gradations, realistic exam simulation, detailed explanations and feedback, authoritative content, and user-friendly interface, and written in a very simple language to the point. And at the end, to add all these set of question papers which have been asked in the different board. That means if a child doesn't have a textbook and follows this book consistently, will suffice all his requirement. And if he has understood, no matter what question, a child is able to attempt and endeavor everything. So we have tried to help the student in a much an academician, like an accommodation, not a bookseller. So, and Astitva Prakashan had been, of course, a pioneer in agreeing to print it out. So this is how the book came into being. And earlier I wrote just for the cause of anybody who would ask me. I'm a retired principal. So I thought anybody who would ask me for help, I'll give these notes to him. Then later, when I talked to one of your Astitva Prakashan, good lady, I forget her name, some Sahu, Miss Sahu. She was very kind talking to me, and then this book went for publications. And of course, I'm very proud of this book. Yeah, please.
Yes. So, sir, when you have written this book, so is it also targets the students who are preparing for competitive exams such as JEE, NEET, or like such exams? Will it help?
Yes, of course, of course. Class 12 passing, if you talk of physics, class 11th and 12th is not a rocket science. Class 11th and 12th deals with all measurement science. It's a measurement physics. Measure this, measure current, measure capacitance. It all goes about measuring. So if a child can handle a mobile phone, why not a child can handle this ancient physics? We are actually class 11th and 12th is a classical physics. If I talk of classical physics, like in music, you have classical music. So if I talk of in physics, classical physics, whatever was invented till 1900 AD is a classical physics. In 1900 AD, Max Planck came and the quantum sciences started. The quantization of physics, modern physics took place. But the classical physics cannot be replaced fully. All those which are Newtonian physics or a gravitational physics cannot be replaced by modern physics. So they are there and they deal with measuring science. So when you do class 12th and you are the aspirant of NEET examinations, or you are aspirant to travel abroad and do seek admission in some good colleges and universities, then this book will help you preparing for physics, because this book deals with conceptual understanding, critical thinking. It encourages problem solving skills, prepares for real world applications, and enhances retention and transfer of knowledge. I've made a very important point: retention and transfer of knowledge. You may retain knowledge, but when you transfer knowledge, you have to travel a mile extra. That
Yes.
extra mile, this book will prepare you for. And at all, diverse learning style is there. For example, some listens and understand, but some don't understand if they're right. Some write and understand, some do not understand when they listen. If a teacher marks something on the board in a square, he understands better. But if he circles, he doesn't understand. It's a learning pattern. This book, it's simply to see it books the book look alike like any other book, sentences, numericals and all. But the contents have been so arranged that a child will feel freedom to learn, enjoy, retain, and transfer knowledge, and produce knowledge the way it is asked for.
Okay. So, sir, like, will this book be useful for the faculties too, like for the teachers if they want to have?
Certainly, certainly. A faculty, look, if I have attended a 40 minutes class as a teacher and I have taught, then it is important to give a feedback, assess myself as a teacher, that at the end of 40 minutes, what did I leave behind the class? I spoke for 40 minutes. I did lot of actions and reactions on the board. What did I leave in the children's mind? So after completing each unit, a child is expected to know certain kind of contents without much effort. Teachers should also understand that I taught, will my children retain something what I taught? But most teachers, very sorry to say, most teachers, they teach in brief so that they come in tuition. So,
Yes.
yeah, I have to be with the children and I should be available with the students always. Whenever a student want me, and I should feel bad if a student to whom I teach is seeking tuitions. Why? It's a it's demeaning for a teacher. If I have taught you, why should you look for a tuition?
Yes.
If you
Yes.
are left with a doubt, I'm available. Do get back to me. And it is my duty. How do I solve? How do I make you understand? I'll find ways and means. Therefore, at the end of teaching each unit, a teacher should give a test. And this all test series have a 70 marks test, which contains all the questions in a pattern board asks, the state board, ICSE or CBSE asks. Difficult level, critical level, simple level, these questions children should be asked. If a child has not fared well, repeat this test once again. And you don't need any third party to train you. And if teacher has learned to use these test papers, this book properly, in few years time of practice, teachers will write one more book. Instead, this book only, those teachers will be able to write a book more. And that will contribute to the academia and the academic society. You know, in today's teaching,
Mm.
what is left? The teachers, those who taught us, were not B.Ed. I remember the teacher who taught me maths was Interpass.
Mm.
Yeah, but what he taught me, I survived till my master's.
Mm.
Yeah, I did fairly well. I haven't forgotten them. But the today's teachers, yeah, the teaching style is gone fancy. But fine,
Mm.
you have traveled from old school to the new school. Good enough. But it's about the achievement. Old school achieved so much, you didn't achieve anything. So
Mm.
that has to be compared. And the time and teachers will benefit by time management and exam preparations, by doing
Mm.
feedback and improvement, targeted revision and focus, comprehensive exam preparations. I
Mm.
still repeat them. Teachers will have a benefit of time management, feedback and improvement, targeted revision and focus, and comprehensive exam preparations. And then if the children, unless I have translated my knowledge to the knowledge of the students, I
Mm.
don't become a teacher.
Yes.
Is the children to whom I taught, students to whom I taught, is they to declare me a teacher, good or
Mm.
bad, isn't it? Or
Yes.
showing the tantrum of being a teacher, being knowledgeable, being educated, being so and so doesn't help. What helps is what did you deliver and what got translated into the knowledge of children and how fairly they did in their life. That counts. It's not the chicken, it's the eggs.
Definitely, sir. I, yes, I completely agree with you.
Thank you.
And when we see like especially 11th, 12th, so I would like to talk about state boards and directly coming after that. So I came from like state board. So after my 10th, when I entered into 11th and 12th, it was a kind of major shock for me that the maths has already been changed too much. The physics has been upgraded to a very different extent, and
Yeah.
my teachers are not able to teach me that, and they are blaming me for not studying enough. At the end of the day, the blame comes on the students that you are not preparing well. And we also have to see the capacity of each student, how much they are able to study, how much they are
Yes.
able to take it. So we don't see that, we just see it as like those who study, they can. But I don't believe you need to study 10 hours to get something on your head. I believe if you read smartly, if you can follow steps, if you can comprehend it, I think it won't take that much time. So I believe we also need to change this concept, the businesses that has been going around
Yeah.
on this education system, especially these two classes specifically 11th and 12th. Literally parents send their children outside of their home just to get some good ranks in IIT or JEE, and there they don't know what's going with their students. It's the fault of the teachers or their own like children. They don't know it. And it's not just about knowledge. The things are much deep rooted. But I think the book you have published, it raises questions on these things too, that we need to start questioning this business or these things that has been going around. So I believe this is a very remarkable thing, and it will also the main objective should be helping the students, and I believe it will definitely help the students.
You you spoke two important things. The knowledge of a
Hmm.
teacher. My uncle, he was the head of physics department at BITS Ranchi.
Hmm.
Uh, he gave me his notes of 1938 when he was a student of Patna Science College.
Okay.
Those notes contain what do you know? Atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons. That were the MSc notes.
Hmm.
These things are taught in class 6 nowadays. Okay.
Yes.
When I was a student, I never studied vector algebra because it was not in
Hmm.
our syllabus.
Hmm.
But when I became a teacher, I had to teach vector algebra. So what is required? A teacher should continuously be updating himself, and it's
Hmm.
very important that the teacher studies. Unless
Yes.
he studies, either he's a genius or he's a fool. Genius are not born, rarely born, so must be a fool. In
Yes.
terms of a student, the students are to be always encouraged. They are all they look big, The children come to 11th and 12th, boys and girls, they look big, but they are not big. They are children.
Hmm.
Teachers have to treat them gently, not harshly. And for a student, may it be a state board or a central board, doesn't matter at all. You are in an
Hmm.
expensive school or in a government school, doesn't matter at all. What matters that a child, a student, should be consistently practicing.
Hmm.
He or she should be taught of diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment means what am I good at and what am I not.
Hmm.
Encourage children to be honest about what I am not.
Hmm.
Most children do not learn because they are guilty of saying what I am not. They should be proud. This is my strength, and these are the things I don't know.
Hmm.
Will somebody teach me? And somebody must help. And similarly, review and reflect. Every time a child should review and reflect it. How do you know? And then create a study schedule. It doesn't happen that today I studied 1 hour, for 2 days I want to study, third day I will go to marriage party, fourth day again I will study. No. If I were to study 2 hours, let me study 2 hours. I
Hmm.
have to set goals and targets. If
Hmm.
you have to become an engineer, you have to become a doctor, you have to become anything, set it and achieve to it. You know, I wanted my son to become a doctor.
Hmm.
He did. He studied and he stood first in CMC Ludhiana medical
Hmm.
entrance exam. One
Hmm.
night he came to me. He said, "Papa, could I talk to you?" I'm like, yes. He said, "Can I not be a doctor?" Look, a child obeyed father, clears medical examination, says, "I don't want to become a doctor." Then
Hmm.
what will you do? He became a lawyer. He has been a lawyer for now 10 years in a corporate.
Hmm.
Now, whose fault is this? Father's fault. Had I asked him earlier if he
Hmm.
wanted really to become a doctor, and he would
Hmm.
have told me no, then he should have probably done better being a lawyer.
Hmm.
He would have studied all those subjects. So always elder people confuse. Children should be given freedom
Hmm.
to think, and elders should shape it. And of course, deepened understanding is, understanding is very important. There's an understanding between teacher and a student, father and son, father and daughter. The understanding, no contract is a contract unless understanding is there. Teacher and a student is a great relation. There has to be understanding. My child wants to become a doctor. Let me find out as a teacher in what ways I can help the child. Not only in physics, what about in other subjects? I'll find the means. That kind of a honesty level. You raised a wonderful question.
Yes. Yes. So, sir, where the students can find these books, in which platforms these are available, like
These books are
Amazon?
available on Amazon, Astitwa Bookstore. It's available on Flipkart. Then e-books are also available.
Okay. So,
So
yeah, I would request anyone who is watching this video right now, if you want to purchase the book, you
yeah,
can
I'll
go and check
show
out.
the book. The book looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah, and it must be getting inverted.
Yes,
So
yes.
anyway,
We are
uh, uh,
blurred image, but yeah, I think
uh,
they can see any photo like. we will just share in your bio. You can check from there. Like stories, we'll just update it.
Ah,
You can look at the. So anyway, sir, it's like it was a like good discussion with you today, and not only about your book, but we discussed about a lot of things, and I really learned a lot today. Even the time we had was very less, but thank you so much for giving your insights on these topics.
thank you very much. Kind of you for having me.
And thanks to our all audience who has been here. And here we are just taking taking. I think it's really hard, to end a session. At the end of the like session, it becomes very difficult for me to say goodbye. But we have to. Ultimately, everyone has to leave. So thank you all for being here today, and we really enjoyed this, and we'll keep coming like this in future too. And thank you, sir. I wish you a lot of wishes for your book, and I believe it will go into the right hands, and people will definitely be will be helpful from this.
Thank you very much. Kind of you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.